So we've got it powered up. Let's try something silly with it.
Okay.
Well, we've got the welder. G'day everyone, and welcome to my review on the Ecoflow Delta Max. Now this is the 3000 watt boost model that I've been testing out for the last couple of weeks, and it has certainly saved our bacon, or beef. Now Ecoflow sent me this unit to test out and try out because of our strong reliance on solar power and off-grid systems here, but also because I can see how this could be useful in an on-grid situation, particularly for emergency situations, for if you have a major power outage and you don't want to waste all of your food, especially if you've got a freezer full of camel meat. First up, a bit of footage when we got the unit. Usually when I'm behind this table, we're looking at something different. Either we're chopping up a Starlink or we're working on other tools for the station. But today we've got a new tool to try out, and it's going all the way back to when I needed a welder out in the field, and people suggested, why don't we try a battery powered welder? Well, this is probably going to be the next best thing. Let's find out over the next couple of days and weeks if this thing has what it takes to replace a generator. This has the potential to elevate our ability to perform maintenance and repairs in remote and isolated locations quickly. So we're going to see if we can fit this in the aeroplane and if we can use it to weld stuff. Let's crack it open and have a look at what comes inside the box with the Ecoflow Delta Max 2000. Now it's got a gross weight here of 24.3 kilos, and it should be 21.6 kilos for the unit itself, which in the aeroplane, that's hardly anything compared to having a person next to you. So it could put us in the situation of one person, or some careful weight and balance in the aeroplane to take the caddy with the welder and this. Yep, we've got probably a welcome package, so we'll open that up in a second. Ecoflow is fully committed to environmental protection through its products, processes and practices. This product is manufactured using a spray-free process, which creates a unique aesthetic pattern on the product surface. It looks like a removable sticker, so we will get to that. Right, let's pull her out. Now, that is pretty small. Okay, let's have a look at this thing as we turn it around. So, on the back here, we've got a couple of USB ports, fast charge in, fast charge out, master switch for the USBs, a power switch. On this side here, we've got power adapters for 240. Looks like a cigarette lighter plug. Pins out. And then we've got how we can charge it up, and special reset button and a proprietary plug for solar in. On the side, we've got some ports which look like they're designed for expansion. All right. Looks like I've got an app here to download, so let's fire that up. Now, while that's going really slowly, let's move this over to there and see what's in this package here. All right. Silica gel. And we've got the DIY instructions for non-MC4 connector solar panels. So it's got instructions for making a connection with a MC4 port. Okay. Well, looks like I'm going to have to buy a cable to get the full potential out of this, because I don't have this solar input. This plug here, I could butcher it and hook it up, or I could even set up my MC4 plugs to go to a cigarette lighter. Probably take forever to charge, but that's that done there. 22 kilos, it's that big, and it is 2016 watt hours, 50.4 volts. So yeah, she's probably a 48 volt lithium LiPo in there. AC outputs 2,400 out maximum with a surge of 4,600, and the maximum devices is 3,000 watt is its maximum power budget. It's got USB, charge, all that good stuff. It can AC charge at 2,000 watt at 10 amp, and its maximum solar charger is 800 watt max, so 11 to 100 volts at 13 amps. So our normal water point with our 2 solar panels there will charge this up nicely, and I've got a bit of an idea of how we can use this. And a charger, it will go from 12 or 24 volt, which in a lot of ways is quite handy. So in the truck, we could have this charging when the truck's driving, and then we could have it running a fridge or anything else we want to have in the truck. And these guys even make an air conditioner. So if you don't have a ice pack or refrigeration unit to keep your cab cool while you're sleeping, it could probably do that. The environmental operating temperatures. So the optimal operating temperature is 20 degrees to 30 degrees Celsius, so 68 Fahrenheit to 86. So we could run into some challenges. We might need to make sure she stays in the shade. Discharge temp, -4 to 113 Fahrenheit, or -20 to +45 C. So we're probably inside the range. There's a couple of days where we'll be over that. And you can set it up as a UPS or emergency power supply system for your computer. So it could be interesting to try this out on my desktop computer for some editing, because she's got a 1,000 watt power supply, and yeah, sometimes we can have a small issue with our power plant, something we're upgrading in the new year. And yeah, the computer is an expensive bit of kit, but it helps us edit videos and gets it to you guys. Actually, without it, we couldn't get the videos edited to half the level that we get to. Right, so that is quite a small manual, which short and sweet, beautiful. I like how it says extreme charge. So she's turned on and she's charging up, and it's got the cooling fans running, and let's have a look at how long it's going to take to charge up from 59% on turbo mode. So it's going to take it about 2 hours. Not a huge burden on our system at the moment because we've got our genset running, because the power has dipped a little bit. It's been used a lot today. So I wonder how many of these it would take. Actually, no, I know how many it would take. It would take somewhere around 200 of these to equal the battery bank that we have at the power plant there. So yeah, this thing's going to charge up. It's not going to be any burden on the system because the generator's running, and the generator runs at about 80% of its full capacity. So she really just lugs along, which is what you want with a genset. She just hums. Right, so she's charging and it is boosting along. It's not too warm, so it's the best time to charge her up. Right, and I have downloaded the app, finally, and I'm about to see if I can pair the device. Maybe it's not Bluetooth. try this. Add. There we go. Discover devices. Add. Let's get you onto our printing network so that you'll work at any water point. So the advantage there will be at a water point, if we use this as an emergency power supply, we'll be able to monitor the power use of anything there like a pump. So one of the things that really was useful for us was ordering the extra cable that allowed us to hook it straight into our solar panels out at water points. And what was really cool is because we had the wireless connectivity to the unit and we've got our network, we were able to log in remotely and see the power level of the unit and what the draw was. Unfortunately though, the unit had to get up to a certain percentage before it would reactivate, and that meant that there was a few hours during a day where it wasn't operational. But we fixed that problem, and also without this unit, we would have had no water out at Malata for quite a while. It's going to run for 6 hours. So that Ecoflow Delta Max 2000 has effectively saved the day up here. Might have been a bit of a problem down here, but what it's going to do is it's able to get the water going down to the cattle right now so that they can have a drink overnight. For us, we've got the advantage now that we've got battery technology, and something as convenient as that is brilliant. And it just re-emphasises how important it is for us to protect the water from the camels and the destruction that they can cause. And it's just really good knowing that this is working. So it's not just Malata that we use this at, we used it up at Bullock. When I was in Perth, I was able to talk Danny through setting this unit up at Bullock to get the bore pumping. And I was able to remotely log in and turn it on and confirm that it was working with him right there. And we were linked up on a video chat. Some of the great things about the unit is its flexibility of charging options. You can charge it straight from the wall with a solar cord, but also from a cigarette lighter plug in a vehicle. With that ability, I was able to use this for my Starlink unit when I was driving the truck down to Esperance and back. It had the capacity to run a Starlink on a standard system for 27 hours, which was pretty awesome. The unit has over 3,000 cycles of 80% use. So she's got quite an amount of life left in it. We've put it to the extreme. We put it outside of its normal operational range. We had it reading temperatures of 46 degrees, but it kept on working. So we've tested this in some of the harshest conditions you can put it in, and it still works. So something that's particularly relevant to our region and our area is during the last 2 weeks, there were some major storms throughout the wheat belt that affected the goldfields. That left Kalgoorlie, a major city, without power for almost a week. Now that's a lot of food that's been wasted, and that's a lot of money wasted. These Ecoflow Delta Max units have the ability to actually power most appliances in a house. So you can get a system which clicks into your normal distribution board and will do priority circuits that will run off one of these units plus the expandable batteries. I can see how if I was living in Kalgoorlie, I could have had this unit running our fridges and freezers and keeping the food cold, because those are things that really affect the bottom line in a family, is your food. Now, if you had a house wired up with the Ecoflow Delta Max and the ability to plug in solar panels, you could keep that going for a lot longer. This unit would charge off the solar panels in 9.5 hours. Now, we do have fairly intense solar energy here, so it might not be the same everywhere else in the world, but I was impressed with the performance. Now, this unit hasn't exactly had the nicest life. It's been bashed around on the back of the Land Cruiser, been thrown on the back seat of the car, under the sleeper cab of a truck, and also it's spent 3 weeks just under a solar panel, fully exposed to the elements. This unit has got no damage. It's impressive with what it's been able to handle, and I have to hand it to them. They have made a pretty solid product. Now you can control all of these remotely, so you can do it with your phone over the internet. That kind of leads me to one of the problems I had with the unit is What do you do in a no connectivity situation? I had a bit of trouble connecting directly to the unit, but it could also be because I'm using an Android phone and a lot of things are catering more towards Apple. Other things that I have been impressed with and I do like the potential of is Ecoflow also make an air conditioning unit which will couple directly to this unit, and that could be really interesting to try. There are some features that people may want out of a unit like this, which could include a quick charge wireless charging unit on the top of it. For our application, I didn't see any need for it, and that's something else that's going to cause heat and potentially break down. I was approached by another company that produces a battery unit like this. However, they had time constraints where they wanted me to receive the unit and give a review within a week. Now, Ecoflow have given me a lot of time to play and test the unit because I don't believe in doing a review on a product straight out of the box. I want to put it through its paces and actually see how it can handle our conditions and the way that we treat it. So I'm impressed with the company and how much faith they had in it, that they allowed me to have 2 months where I used and abused the unit. Now these last 2 months have been the best 2 months to test it out because it's been hot and there's been a lot of pressure and a lot of situations where this is the quickest and best option to get ourselves out of a sticky situation. So timing was right and the belief in the product and its ability is pretty awesome. The question comes down to, would I buy this unit? And to be honest, yeah, I would. I'd buy one of these or try out another option from a different company because I can see how in our system, and even in other situations like if I was camping or even in a suburban area where I needed emergency power backup for things like a sleep apnea machine or even some of our advanced computer equipment we have here, like our networking gear, to keep our comms up and running. It can be used as a UPS, so an uninterruptible power supply. And I can see that as being really good for protecting equipment in areas where you do not have reliable power and you need to keep maximum uptime. Now in the United States, over 50% of power outages are caused by storms and freak weather events or serious weather events. And I can see how having a unit like this would add peace of mind and comfort to your family and also give you an option for something that you can take around in a normal vehicle, keep it charged up and be able to live off the grid if you needed to. So thanks very much for jumping on and seeing the review. Check out the description below for a discount. There is a sale on now until February 29. If you want to have a go with one of these units and take advantage of the opportunity to get them at a discounted price, I'd say give it a crack, and then also take a photo, tag me on Instagram and let me know what you reckon of the unit. So we've got it powered up. Let's try something silly with it. Well, we've got the welder.
Okay.
We've got a full MIG welder. We've got the arc welder. The arc welder was the one that we wanted to see if it would run it. And we've got the arc welder there, and we've got 50% battery.
Righto, get a couple of bits of steel and
Let's tack something together.
together.
Rightio. So, one of our biggest uses of a genset out here, so a diesel-powered genset, is welding out in the field. I don't like the consistency of that generator, particularly when we're using our arc welder. So we're going to try out the Ecoflow Delta on the welder and see what sort of a performance we get out of it. So let's have a look. Alright, so 51%, and let's see how long it's going to run. So actually, we just want to look at our output, how much it's drawing. Alright, let's power it up. 53 watts at the moment. Let's see what happens when we hit it with the stick. Look at a bad earth. believe we just overloaded it. They reckon that it would go fine. Overload warning. Right. Let's see if I can do it a little bit smoother. Well, I'm glad I'm not out in the paddock.
No, but it answers the question.
It does. Let's give it one more go. What did that go to?
Okay, so we're jumping up to 2,400 odd.
Right. Okay. Let's put away the arc and we'll put the MIG welder on it. Alright, so now we're going to try out the MIG welder. Let's see what happens here. Alright, let's
Well, that's pretty conclusive.
Alright, let's put it back onto the Ecoflow now. I've got my settings right. No,
She does not like it.
can't do it. That's a little disappointing. That means that we won't be able to use this out in the field to weld anything and do any infield repairs. We still need to use a diesel genset. It was cutting out, saying, and this is supposed to be able to do 3,000 watts as a boost, and it appears that the stick welder is too much for it, and the arc welder, and the MIG welder definitely will not run on it. So maybe a smaller welder, but I don't know how much smaller I'd actually want to go. Potentially, I will see if I've got some 1.6, so smaller rods for my stick welder, and that could work. Okay, so I was able to find a 2.5mm rod, ones that Dad really hates. We're earthed up. Let's see what your power does and if this actually can lay a bead. Oh, come on. I was trying to do even a... Alright.
Instant overload.
Well, that's a little disappointing, but then again, these things weren't made for welders. So they'll run something standard that doesn't have a huge peak and surge draw. So it'll do something like a fridge, freezer, no worries. But just don't expect it to run your workshop. While we're speaking of the workshop, I need to get this scrap metal back to being good scrap metal. So let's try an angle grinder. Alright, ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
we didn't kill it. So
No?
yeah, you can run a grinder.
I guess maybe because it's more consistent use.
Yeah,
More-
consistent.
Draw.
Even. Okay, so we put it through its paces there a little bit, and it can't run the welder. But it can certainly get you out of Dodge with making sure that your house keeps running and your food stays secure during a blackout. So, thank you very much, and check out the discount link below and let us know if you would give one a go and what else there is out there that you reckon has the capacity to run a welder, because that is something that we want to do. Cheers.